So guys, we just talked about making sure you look at the outline that's on day map, and I would say that some of this stuff isn't necessary. All right, the algebra part of your modulus. Having said that, it's nothing major. So Iman, are we watching? So this is, whoop, I don't even know what exercise. Oh, there you go. Exercise 3F3. If you have a little bit of time, yes, sure, it's nice. We will be looking at this when we do complex numbers a little bit more, but it's nice to just see what's going on. Can anyone tell me why this line should make sense to us? 2x plus 3 could equal positive 7 or negative 7. Yeah, I guess the square, but yeah, what does the modulus do? It turns whatever's inside the modulus to positive. So this thing in here, yes, it could just be that that little function there does equals 7, and bang, yes, my answer is 7, it works. But if my value for x made this thing in here minus 7, the modulus then also turns it into 7. Does that make sense? That's why I can have the two answers that come out. So you can now have two solutions to solve 2x plus 3 equals 7, and therefore x could be 2, so suss it. 2 2s are 4, 4 plus 3 equals 7, it works. But we're saying this could also be minus 7 because 2, blah, 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 x is minus 5. 2 times minus 5 is minus 10, plus 3 is minus 7. The modulus then turns into becoming 7. So you can get that plus or minus going either way. So that's all a bit of hoo-ha poo-ha. So I would say it's cute. I don't think you need to look at it. I don't think. We're not going to look at it at the moment. We want to make sure that we've got our function stuff under control. However, from the previous one, I deliberately skipped a bit just because where we were at the lesson, right? So all of this, yep. We should have our properties down pat, but again, I love how the book gets you to do all these mundane things, and then they do summarize, or maybe they didn't, but there will be a summary of your modulus things, and if it's not, I'll give it to you somewhere. It's downstairs. So there's a summary there in green. Make sure that you write it down and adhere to it. This little bit here, again, reasonably cute, but do we need to do it? Who knows? I think we should cover it just in case. And it's getting you to graph these without using your technology. Now, this would be great if we were having a non-technology test, but it's available. I guess I could say break it up into the two graphs that we've got. So could you grab your graphics calculators and graph this function, please? Just in case you forgot, we go option, F5 numeric, absolute value, and we go x take 2. Enter, have I got standard? There we go. So would you agree that this looks like it's a combination of two functions, two straight lines, right? And where do those two straight lines come from? Well, this is where we're breaking them up. You've done this. Why are you answering when I know you've done this? Stop it. So that was Kunal. That's all right. They can't hear you from here. So basically, consider that we're breaking this up like we just talked about, that this thing in here, this could be a positive value. So when it is x minus 2 and it's greater than or equal to 0, the effect of the modulus is basically nil, isn't it? And that is nil when x is greater than or equal to 2. So for the values for x being greater than or equal to 2, we've got y equals x take 2. So if we weren't writing it like this, we've got the modulus of x take 2 equals, so when x is greater than or equal to 2, it's just y equals x take 2. There was no effect with the modulus, right? When x is greater than or equal to 2. However, when x take 2, oh, come on, I said yellow. When x take 2 is less than 0, that's when the modulus comes into effect. Agreed? That's when x is less than 2. And what does that mean? It means everything in here is no. Well, the modulus makes it positive, But before we applied the modulus, the whole thing was negative. So that would mean we had negative x take 2. Would you agree? So that would give us the function minus x plus 2 for when x is less than 2. Now we go back to our calculator, minus x plus 2, and if I now graph in minus x plus 2, what should you see? Yes, it actually overlaps. But of course, what's this value right here? 2. That's what we're saying. So at this value here, that's when we split it into the two separate functions. Does that make sense? We could do the same thing for b, but it's exactly the same. Yeah? Let's try, ooh. We could try, do you want to do b? Want to do b? We'll do b, just to check. All right, so with b, with b, it's the same sort of thing. So when will the modulus make no effect whatsoever? When x plus 1 is greater than or equal to 0. No effect of the modulus, right? And when is that? Well, just for x, that is when x is greater than or equal to negative 1. So if we're writing that nicely now, how they've done it, that would be, it's going to be x plus 1 when x is greater than or equal to minus 1. Agreed? Agreed. Right? When is stuff going to change around? It's when x plus 1 is less than 0. And so that's when, oh yeah, it's less than minus 1. And the more you do of this, the more you go, oh yeah, I don't need to bother. Right? But what happens when the modulus is less, that whole thing is negative? You're looking at it's minus whatever's in the modulus. Okay? So that means we've got minus x take 1. So we've got minus x take 1 when x is less than minus 1. And if you look at the solutions, look at the solutions, or you can graph it yourself, you're going to see that there's a bit of an activity around minus 1. Correct? Graph it, look at your solutions, do it, sus. You're going to have a think about these ones, but I do want to draw your attention to G. G. So, for what's going on here? When will the modulus have no effect? So here, when x is greater than 0, right? But what about here? When x take 2 is greater than or equal to 0, so this is going to be when x is greater than 2. So you can't just say greater than 0, because when x is 1, the modulus is going to have to do some work, correct? So we're going to have to go with, right, when x is greater than or equal to 2, what function have we got? We've got y equals x, no effect of the modulus, no effect of the modulus here. Do you agree? Yes? So then, does it mean that it's just x is just less than root 2? Root 2, where did I get root 2 from? Is it just less than 2? No, because we've got this bit. So I want you to think about it. We're actually going to have when it's less than 2, but when it's greater than or equal to 0. What function do we get then? This stays as it is. What happens to this? It's now less than 2. That becomes negative. Do we agree? So we've now got plus, I'm going to write this nicely, minus x take 2. I've still got like 1 minute. So x minus x, a minus and a minus make a plus. And you're probably all going, what the hell is going on here? Bear with me. And what's the last thing that we have to consider? X is less than 0. Remember, I'm recording this and it will all be up there. You can just switch to the last bit. Now, when x is less than 0, what happens to this? That's negative x. What's this? Negative x and negative negative 2. So plus 2, we get minus 2x plus 2. Can you look at your solutions? Let's have a look. Oh, that's not you. Look at our solutions for that graph. Where'd it go? Now I'm out of... So, this is y equals 2. Horizontal line, y equals 2. What values is it between? 0 and? That's what we said. Between 0 and 2. Wait, seriously. When this is negative, so which way does this slope? Decreasing when it is less than 0. Have a look. Yeah, baby. And when is it positive, sloping up from? Beyond 2, beyond the grave. Beyond 2, which is what we said here. Does that make sense? So you sort of got to break it up. We've got more time to play with this on Monday. So your homework. You've got your revision basically to do. I told the chaps, I don't want to see you doing the test as you're looking at it on your laptop. Print it out. Do it after you've made your summary sheet, after you've done your revision, and do it under test conditions. There's 2 of them. I love you. Goodbye.